Shalom Aleichem everyone, hope everyone is very well and had a very, very good week. Baruch Hashem, we had a great half week in Yeshiva. It's now Tuesday afternoon. We had a great half week of learning, and now the Shana Bet boys are on a 2-day Tiyul to Eilat. They have their annual Tiyul to Eilat this week, and the Shana Bet Aleph boys are going on a Tiyul to the Negev. I wanted to share with you a very, very quick idea which I think is very, very relevant to things that are going on in the world around us. They're in the news a lot, and I think it's very, very significant. So in this week's parasha, we read in Perek Lamed Ches of the terrible, terrible incident of Yehuda and Tamar, and the parsha opens up that incident by Vayihi ba'esahi, Vayered Yehuda me'esachav. Yehuda has a yerida from his brothers. There's a yerida. This perek represents a downgrade, if you will, in Yehuda, and indeed the beginning of the next chapter, Perek Lamed Tes, which discusses the story of Yosef and Potiphar and Eshes Potiphar, also opens up the Yosef Hurad Mitzrayma. And Rashi certainly links these two Yeridos and says these Yeridos are connected. Rashi writes on that Pasuk, Perek Lamed Tes, Pasuk Aleph, that this is to teach us, these two Yeridos are to teach us that the downfall of Yehuda arose because of his selling Yosef down to Mitzrayim. There is a linkage over here. The Torah is masmich, is linking, juxtaposing Yerida to Yerida. The Yerida of Yehuda comes from the Yerida of Yosef. The Medrash where Rashi gets this from actually takes it a step further, and some Midrashim really elaborate on this idea. But if you take a look at the Medrash Rabbah writes, what is the actual connection over here? Why do we have a smichus haparshios between the story of Yehuda and Tamar to the story of Yosef's sale to Mitzrayim, but ultimately his being in the house of Eshes Potiphar, and the incident that happens where Yosef does not accede to her advances? So the Torah tells us that you have this linkage. Number one, kedei lismoch yerida liyerida, to link the yerida of Yehuda with the yerida of Yosef. Yehuda perhaps did not treat Yosef as a tzelem Elokim, as a brother, sold him down, and it's that very midah, to sell someone into slavery, it's that midah, not treating a human being as a person, that could also cause a man to go ahead and treat a woman improperly, to treat a woman as an object and not with the proper sense of respect. And then again, the Medrash takes it further. Rav Yochanan Amar kedei lismoch haker lahaker. There's two lashonos in the psukim, hakerna, to recognize. Tamar tells Yosef, Tamar tells Yehuda, recognize who is the owner of this object. She doesn't want to embarrass Yehuda, but she wants to convey a very clear message to Yehuda that I didn't deserve this. I didn't deserve to be single for so long. I deserved a husband from your family. I deserve to be married to you, Yehuda. And she protects Yehuda's dignity. Hakerna, we find the same lashon of Hakerna by Yosef. The Medrash continues and says we have a smichus of the parsha of Tamar to the parsha of Eshes Potiphar, and just like Tamar was l'shem shamayim, so the Medrash elaborates that Eshes Potiphar was also on some level l'shem shamayim. So there is this juxtaposition in a very striking way of what I will call threats in the sexual arena, nisyonos, that are very, very real, and we have juxtaposed very same, one parak after another, a smichus haparshios between the incident of Yosef and Eshes Potiphar and the incident of Yehuda and Tamar. And I think that is a very, very significant lesson. And here you have two, if you will, paragons of our avos, of the Yud Beis Shvatim, in terms of relating to women and how we relate to women in general, and how the challenges of this nisayon. So on the one hand we see Yosef, and Yosef is the exemplar of what we call Yosef HaTzadik. Yosef is in an empty house. He has, the woman of the house is trying to seduce him in a very, very aggressive way, and Yosef, with a tremendous act of gvura, goes ahead and withdraws. He pulls away. He has every opportunity to commit one of the cardinal sins, and Yosef overcomes what is a very, very natural Yetzer Hara, a very natural nisayon, and pulls away, walks away. And that's why he has attached to his name the name Yosef HaTzadik, is because there's a tremendous act of gvura, a tremendous act of tzidkus, which is exemplified by Yosef. We don't find the same by Yehuda. Yehuda, the Torah describes to us in pretty big detail that he commits what would seem to be a pretty serious violation. He has relations with Tamar. He sees her, perceives her as a zona, and he treats her as a zona. And then all of a sudden she's pregnant, and it's his daughter-in-law, and now he wants to kill her. He doesn't treat her with a certain sense of respect, and that is very, very evident from the psukim. The Torah is trying to tell us a core message, and she, Tamar, in a tremendous act of dignity, respecting Yehuda's dignity, respecting his reputation, conveys a message in a very, very subtle fashion that only one person could recognize the message that she was sending. She's not embarrassing him at all by expressing who was the father of this child, the owner of the staff, the owner of the cloak. That's the father of the child. So Yehuda can go ahead and he can kill her. He can kill her, and no one's going to know the difference. But that's not what he does. When he's confronted with this reality, so his response, Yehuda's is tzadka mimeni. She is indeed the righteous one, and he ends up, in a certain sense, fixing the error that he had done previously. She is the righteous one, tzadka mimeni. He's confronted with his sin, and he announces to the world that I'm the guilty party, she is the righteous party. And of course, it is that admission that ultimately produces Malchus Yisrael. Yehuda will come from this David will come from this relationship. Ultimately, Mashiach will come from this relationship. So here we have, on the one hand, Yosef, who is the exemplar of Gvura, has the ability to sin in this arena, and he walks away. He does not commit the sin. He has that koach to step away. And then you have Yehuda, on the other hand, who does fall. He has a very bona fide Yerida, as the psukim indicate. He has a downfall, and it is a downfall. But when he's confronted with his error, the error of his ways, so his immediate response is tzadka mimeni. He admits the error of his ways. We find this phenomenon in the offspring of Yehuda many years later. But when David also commits a sin, what seems to be a sin with Bathsheba, and he's confronted by his dear friend Yonasan about that sin, once again, his response is not to rationalize, not to justify. His response is chatasi laHashem. Response, the ability to, yes, sometimes we make mistakes and sometimes we fall, but the ability to recognize our mistakes, admit our mistakes, try and fix that which we did wrong, and not just lie about it, justify, rationalize, is a real midah of Jewish leadership and Jewish godliness. We're living in a world, again, in the past month or two, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But the amount of news we hear every week, another celebrity, another famous person accused of tremendous misbehaviors with women, sexual harassment, whether it's big people in Hollywood, whether it's anchors on television, whether it's politicians, in every single domain. I think I saw a newspaper article in the past couple of months, 40, 50 famous people that have everything in the world, are engaged in terrible behavior with women, objectifying women, not treating them as human beings, but just treating them in a very obviously a disgusting way, a perverted way, a vile way. And this is the society that we find ourselves in. And in a real sense, we have to learn our lessons from certainly from Yosef HaTzadik, to understand the kedusha of marriage, the kedusha of the male-female relationship, and the context in which it can be realized in the context of a committed relationship, and not chas v'shalom in an uncommitted relationship or in using people and the like. And if chas v'shalom, here I don't speak in the sexual arena, that is a very serious avera, but in general, the midah of Yehuda, who when confronted with wrongdoing, when confronted with his own mistakes, he does not compound the problem. He does not pile lie upon lie to rationalize and justify. He concedes. He admits his mistake, and the tremendous, if you will, majesty of the behavior of Tamar, the gedula of Tamar, that is indeed the midah that is going to go ahead and bring Malchus Yisrael back. It's going to bring Mashiach Tzidkenu. And we are in a world that is so corrupt, so vile, so perverted. And the people that are in the positions of power and the positions of wealth, they're the worst offenders. Athletes, actors, Hollywood personalities, politicians. And we have a lot to learn from what the Torah has to tell us in this area. And Be'ez Hashem, we will build our hashkafa and our midos from the midos HaTorah, and chas v'shalom not from what is going on around us in the street, in the news, We have to really always maintain our sense of what the true Hashkafas HaTorah is all about. Have a wonderful Shabbos.